Hey guys, Shane from Dicehead.com here, and we're going to give you an exclusive preview at the new Age of Sigmar. I'm going to run you through the rules just a little bit. We're going to show you some models, and remember, you can pre-order it starting today, right now, at Dicehead.com. First, I wanted to start off by showing you some of the fantastic models out of this box set. This is by far the best models in any starter set that GW has ever put out. These plastic models are fantastic looking. The detail is really good for plastic models. These sculpts are just really awesome. I will say that they did take a while to put together. The first set took some time. Now, as we do other sets, you know, it will probably get a little bit quicker. But I will tell you, this first set took a little while. There are a lot of parts to them, and it's a little more complex of a starter set as far as the models go than the previous sets. The previous sets you could just kind of snap together. These are a little bit more advanced, but they are well worth the time and money, definitely. So the rules are free to download today as well off of GW's website, which is first for them. But here they are, out of the box set, 4 simple pages. It comes with this book as well. We're used to this being, you know, a rule book, so it takes a little bit of getting used to. So what I want to do next is I want to run you through the game. Just real simple explanation of the game. So that you can get a better understanding, because you know the big concern with this game is that you won't be able to use your old models, and that's totally not true. You can use your old models with this game. There will be war scrolls for every single model that GW currently has in print for this game, so you will be able to use it if you have a model for it. You can make units just like you could before. Now, they're not going to be all squared up in this version like they were before. But it doesn't matter if you're on square bases, round bases, because as you'll see in a minute, you actually measure your distances from the closest point of the models. And the bases do nothing but hold the model up and make it look nice. Okay, so here is an example of a war scroll. The Liberators. It's going to tell you, it's basically like an old entry for any other version of Warhammer or any other miniature game for that matter. You know, it basically tells you what the unit can do. They have them for units, they have them for individual models, as you can see here. Some of the character models for out of the box set. You also have War Scroll battalions, and so this is basically like a mini army. Tells you here everything that you would need to put together this battalion, and then when you're playing a battalion, you also get different abilities for playing that army setup, or that army composition that's in the battalion. So this is what's meant by war scrolls, and that's kind of how they work. I'm going to just talk real briefly just about a few things. Once you get your box set in your hand, you'll see that all this comes together really well. But basically, as far as setting up a battle, you have a battlefield which is 2x2. It can be larger, but it's a minimum 2x2. One piece of terrain usually in a 2x2 section, but you can add more. That is allowed and encouraged. It makes for an interesting game. You do decide which of the 7 realms that you are going to be fighting in, and that affects some spells, it affects some abilities. You can also roll for the terrain features at random if you just don't want to agree on something beforehand. There's scenery, and it's very interactive. The scenery, the terrain is very interactive in this game. It does make a big difference in the game. And what we can see here, here is the setup. So they have right here 3 different setups as far as where your armies will go. So one person will place their army here, the other here, and you can see they have 3 different setups there. And you just roll a dice, and whoever rolls higher determines which way they want things to be deployed. Just like any other game of Warhammer, and pretty much any miniature game, you have several phases. The hero phase, the movement phase, shooting phase, charge phase, combat phase, and the battle shock phase. These are your battle rounds. In this game, there are battle rounds. And in each round, each player gets a turn. But you roll at the first of each round to determine who gets to go first. So the winner gets to choose if they want to go first or second. So you may have a situation where in the first round, player A went second. In the second round, player A may go first, so he may actually get to take 2 turns in a row. So that's definitely different, and kind of a cool thing, I think, about the Age of Sigmar. Okay, so we'll just go through the phases real quick. The hero phase, basically your hero, your general. Wizards can cast spells. Other units in your armies that are called heroes may have things that they can do according to their war scrolls. Sometimes they can be used in either player's hero phase. There's a command ability. Basically, any models within 12 inches of your general does not have to take battle shock test until the next hero phase. So, kind of reminiscent of old Warhammer Fantasy. So now we come to the movement phase. These guys, represented by this fine-looking model right here, can move 4 inches. They have 3 wounds. They have a 4-up save and a 7 bravery. So we're looking at the movement phase. So this guy can move 4 inches. The prosecutors, who is this very awesome model, they can move up to 12 inches. A model cannot be moved more than once per movement phase, and you measure from any point of the model, and that point of the model cannot have gone further than its basic move stat. Alright, so let's say that you wanted to move this model 4 inches. You could start here at the end of the hammer, and that same point of the hammer could not go beyond the end of the measuring stick there. So we would just move him. It's kind of hard to do holding a camera and trying to move at the same time, but that would be your 4-inch movement. So bases, again, not used for moving or measuring distances. Much like in 40K now, they have running. And you roll a d6, you add that to the basic movement stat, and that's how far you run. So again, if you had a basic movement of 4, you rolled a 4 on your dice, you'd move 8 inches. You could run as little as 5 or as far as 10. Flying models can fly over anything, just like normal games of fantasy and 40K as well. The shooting phase, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Your ranged weapons have a range on them, so you got to be within that many inches. You just make your attack, however many attacks are on the profile. Pretty straightforward. The charge phase is quite a bit different for fantasy. You basically, and you got to remember your close quarters here. 2x2 board. So if you're looking here at this board, that is about all the area that you're using to play. Now, again, like I said, you can add 2x2 sections to it, so you will end up with larger armies. So the way a charge works is you basically roll 2 dice and move your models that far. There's no adding your base movement to it or anything like that. It's just simply that. You roll 2 dice and you move your models that far. So you could charge 2 inches, you could charge 12 inches. So they didn't get rid of the random charge. Not really sure, how much that takes out of the strategy of the game. Haven't really got to play a lot, so just to be honest with you, I was never a fan of the random charge in the last 2 editions of Fantasy Battle, but I'm thinking in this game it is not going to be as much of a factor as it used to be in the old Fantasy Battle, because this is a much different game. So I don't think it's going to be too bad in this game. Part of the reason that I don't believe that is because to attack, you got to be within half an inch of another model. So if this guy was going to charge in, he stops a ½ inch away. That's where you stop at. You don't go base to base. You stop ½ an inch away. And at that point, then you are now in melee combat range. Okay, so the combat phase. Combat phase is different too, and it's pretty interesting, I think. So whoever's turn it is gets to attack with one of their units. So let's take this small battlefield here, for example. Let's say that the Forces of Light player wants to start here, and so they can attack here first. Then their opponent picks a unit to attack with. So their opponent could pick this unit of Chaos Warriors to attack here. Then it goes back to the first player, and he chooses a new group to attack with. So that is definitely a lot different from any game system we've seen GW do so far in the way that combat works. The Battle Shock phase, pretty much like any other leadership test phase. Basically, if your unit lost a model, then it has to make a Battle Shock phase. The details are all there as far as how many models you lose makes it harder to make the success roll, and but that's the Battle Shock phase. Okay, so making attacks, pretty straightforward. You have a to hit roll, you have a to wound roll, and you have a save roll. The save roll, actually, if your weapon has a rend characteristic, then you subtract the value of that rend characteristic from the dice roll of the save. So a little bit different there for that, but pretty straightforward. Inflicting damage, again, pretty straightforward. You allocate wounds, you remove wounds, the model loses all of its wounds, it's slain. Mortal wounds is basically if something causes a mortal wound, then you just remove the model pretty much. Cover, if your models are in cover, then you do get a bonus to your save whenever you're making your armor save. Casting a spell is pretty easy. War Scrolls will have different spells on them for different characters, different units, and they can attempt to cast each spell once per turn. So if you have 2 spells, you can attempt to cast each of them once per turn. If the spell is cast, then it can be unbound by an opposing wizard. To cast a spell, you roll 2 dice. If the total is equal to or greater than the casting value of the spell is successfully cast. To unbind a spell, you have to roll 2 dice, and if your roll beats the roll used to cast a spell, then the spell's effects are negated. Only 1 attempt can be made to unbind a spell. All wizards come with Arcane Bolt and Mystic Shield, in addition to anything else on their War Scroll. And now the most important rule. If you don't know what to do, it says to have a quick chat with your opponent. Roll a dice to determine if you can't come to a conclusion through your quick chat. Maybe an okay resolution in most cases. As a TO, I'm already thinking, we're probably going to have to write down some of these areas and make some rulings on them. That is Warhammer Age of Sigmar, kind of in a nutshell. Now, seriously, there's not a whole lot more details than what I went into. The War Scrolls are going to be very interesting, and don't forget, you can go to Games Workshop today, and you can download War Scrolls for every model that they make. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool, and you can also get a free copy of the rules. Also, don't forget that today you can go to Dicehead.com. You can get Warhammer Age of Sigmar box set. You can pre-order it today, 25% off, all week this week. We will ship it to you as soon as we get the product in. It will be shipped out to you next Saturday, and you will have it and ready to play very quickly. Again, 25% off at Dicehead.com all week this week. We're also running a sale on all of our fantasy items, 25% off anything fantasy this week. So you can start playing Age of Sigmar. You can add to your armies. You can start a new army. One of the cool things about this is that you can actually say you've always wanted to play with some ogres, but you never wanted to play an ogre army. Now you can buy a box of ogres, get the free War Scroll, and play with the models. For $30 or $40, you can have enough models to play this game. I was concerned from a retailer standpoint of, what's it going to take to get new players into this game. GW's prices have gotten high on us recently, and nobody is going to, really dispute that. And so a concern of mine was, well, how much is it going to cost to get a new player in this game? It can cost as little as $30, especially with free rules on the website. But the only way you can get these new awesome sweet models is in the box set, along with the War Scrolls for these models, the book, dice, measuring tools, the rules, and everything that you need to play comes in this new Age of Sigmar box set. So make sure to pick yours up this week. Again, Dicehead.com, 25% off all Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Put your order in now.